This conference will now be recorded.
Hello students, now we are learning about structural organization in animals. We have in NEET syllabus we have morphology and anatomy and functions of different systems like digestive system, circulatory, respiratory system, nervous system, reproductive system of insects. Then we need to learn about frog. Just like an outline, we need to learn all these things. So for NEET exam purpose, from the previous 10 years questions papers, we have collected all the points, and that's what we are learning now from each topic. So already we have covered like animal tissues, in that epithelial tissue and types of covering epithelium we have learned. Then cell junction, what is cell junction? So about tight junction, gap junction, adherent junction, about all these things we have learned. Then what is connective tissue, and then types of connective tissue we have learned. So in that, now we are learning about connective tissue proper we have learned. So here now we are learning about supportive connective tissue. Okay. So this is also a very important topic because all repeated questions came from this portion. So supportive connective tissue, what is that? The supportive connective tissue, it's of two types. Supportive connective tissue, we can say two types, cartilage and bone. Cartilage and bone. These are supportive connective tissue. And cartilage, what we can say about cartilage is, see, it's a semi-rigid and a solid form. Okay, solid form in semi-rigid form, and it's having matrix. Okay, this cartilage that is composed of flexible material. It's a firm material, but it's a flexible material which is called as chondrin. Okay, this chondrin, that's a protein, and this is secreted by cells, which is called as chondrocytes. This chondrin is secreted by chondrocytes, which is a type of cells. Okay, and this also contains fiber, and mostly which fiber? Collagen. Okay, and here we are saying about the cartilage. This cartilage is of three types. So which are all the three types of cartilage? Hyaline cartilage, fibrous cartilage, and elastic cartilage. Hyaline cartilage, fibrous cartilage, and elastic cartilage. Okay, so here supportive connective tissue we have to learn about cartilage, and another one is bone. So in cartilage we have to learn it is made up of flexible material, firm and flexible material, which is called as chondrin, and that is a protein. Chondrin is secreted by chondrocytes, and that also having fibers, and mostly it is collagen. And this cartilage is of three types: hyaline cartilage, fibrous cartilage, and elastic cartilage. Okay, hyaline cartilage that is there in larynx, then nasal septum, tracheal rings, then costal cartilage, and all these are found at the end of bones. Okay, that's about hyaline cartilage. So here you will get where and all you can see that you can see in the larynx, nasal septum, tracheal rings. And what about fibrous cartilage? Fibrous cartilage that is having prominent fibers in the matrix, and that connects, this fibrous cartilage connects bone like which bone? It connects bone like pubis, symphysis, and where it is present in the pelvis. And this forms the intervertebral disc. Okay, so this kind of questions you can expect from this area. So all these terms should be clear. Okay, next comes the elastic cartilage. Elastic cartilage that is providing strength and that is maintaining shape. It's like elastic, so that is giving strength and maintains the shape of ear pinna. Then at the tip of the nose, epiglottis, all this, Eustachian tube, larynx, all these places you can see in the elastic cartilage. So that's about cartilage. Okay, all these points are from previous year question papers. Okay, so here you cannot delete even one point also because everything is from previous year question papers. Next comes bone. Okay, another supportive connective tissue that is bone. Bone, everybody knows that's a solid and rigid connective tissue, and that consists of four parts: periosteum, matrix, endosteum, and bone marrow. Periosteum, matrix, endosteum, bone marrow. Clear? Endosteum, bone marrow. So here the periosteum, which part is that? Periosteum is the outer dense and white fibrous sheath. Outer portion, that is a white color fibrous sheath, and it's a dense portion of bone that is called as periosteum. What about matrix? Matrix, that is present in the form of layers. Okay, so it's present in the form of layers. And in this, calcium and phosphorus salts, that will be more. It is rich in calcium and phosphorus salt, right? Then endosteum, that means the medullary or the marrow cavity, bone marrow cavity that is lined with this endosteum, and osteoblasts. Osteoblasts, these are bone forming cells that are secreted in this protein. Osteoblasts, they are the bone forming cells that secrete osine protein in matrix. Osteoblasts. Okay. So osteoblast, this is the bone forming cells. And these cells secrete osine protein. Where? In the matrix. So this question, this protein and this osteoblast, all these questions are repeated many times in the previous year question papers. Next comes the bone marrow. So here in the bone marrow, it's a soft fatty tissue. Bone marrow, we have heard about that. It's a common one, right? So bone marrow is a soft fatty tissue, and this bone marrow is of two types: red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow. Red bone marrow, and yellow bone marrow. Okay, red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow. Red bone marrow, this is active tissue which is occurring in the or which is present in the spongy parts of bone, and that is red due to the presence of RBCs. In red bone marrow, why it is red? Due to the presence of RBC. And at the same time, here yellow bone marrow, which is a passive tissue, and that will be present in the shaft of bone. Which one? Yellow bone marrow will be present in the shaft of bone, and that is yellow due to the presence of adipocytes. Okay. So red bone marrow due to RBC, yellow bone marrow due to adipocytes. Okay, and another type of connective tissue, that is vascular connective tissue. So now we have learned about supportive connective tissue. Next type of connective tissue, that is vascular connective tissue. The third type is vascular connective tissues. And from this topic also many questions have come in the previous year papers. So vascular connective tissue, this is also called as fluid connective tissue. Okay, fluid connective tissue, and these are specialized connective tissues which is circulating through the cardiovascular system. So this fluid connective tissue is circulating through the cardiovascular system, and this is classified into two main types. There's a broad classification for this. It's broadly classified as two main types: blood and lymph. Blood and lymph. Clear? Blood means this blood is composed of a straw colored transparent fluid. Blood is composed of a transparent fluid which is straw colored, and that is called as plasma, blood plasma. Okay, and this is around 55%. And in this plasma, blood cells are suspended. Blood cells are suspended in blood plasma, and that's around 45% of the blood. Okay, so this 45% of formed elements, these are suspended. So that is blood. And what about plasma? We said blood is composed of 55% plasma and 45% blood cells, right? And about plasma, when we are saying, here we can say plasma that is containing water, 90 to 92% water will be there, and inorganic salts which is present in plasma, that may be sodium, chlorine, potassium, magnesium, all these are present in blood plasma, or inorganic salts are present. Then plasma proteins. Plasma proteins. The plasma proteins which are present, that is albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, and prothrombin. Which are the plasma proteins? Albumin, globulin, fibrinogen, and prothrombin. Okay, all these are present in plasma. These are plasma proteins. Okay, then nutrients, then organic waste material, regulatory substances. Regulatory substances in the sense hormones and enzymes will be there. Then gases will be there, which like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, all these are present in plasma. So 90 to 92% is of plasma, that is water. Then inorganic salts like sodium, calcium, sodium, potassium, chlorine, magnesium, all these things are present. Then plasma proteins are present, fibrinogen, albumin, globulin, prothrombin, all these are plasma proteins. Then organic waste materials will be there, regulatory substances like hormones and enzymes will be there, then nutrients, gases like nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, all these things will be present in the plasma. Clear? Next we said about blood cells, right? So blood cells, what we can say about blood cells? Blood cells, three major functional classes of blood cells are there: erythrocytes, leukocytes, blood platelets. Okay, erythrocytes, leukocytes, blood platelets. Here, erythrocytes or RBCs or red blood cells. These are circular cells and biconcave and non-nucleated without any cytoplasm or organelles. And these are having colored respiratory pigment called hemoglobin. Okay, so from here itself you are getting 4-5 questions. Erythrocytes, that is called as red blood cells or RBCs, and these are circular. Erythrocytes are circular and they are biconcave. They are non-nucleated and they don't have the cytoplasm. They are without cytoplasm or without organelles, and they have red colored respiratory pigment which is called as hemoglobin. Okay. And erythrocytes, the process by which the erythrocytes are formed, that is called as erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis. So formation of erythrocytes, that is called as erythropoiesis. And where this erythropoiesis or the formation of erythrocyte it is taking place, that is taking place in the red bone marrow of adults. In adults, in red bone marrow. In which one? In adults. Okay. And in liver spleen, in fetus, it is liver spleen. In fetus. Okay. And this RBC, how we can count this RBC? By using hemocytometer. We can count RBC. And lifespan of RBC, that is 120 days. 120 days lifespan of RBC. And in rabbit, it will be 80 days. And in frog, it will be 100 days. The lifespan of RBC. Okay, so that's about the RBC. Next, you need to learn about leukocytes. So erythrocytes you have learned, one type of blood cell. Next comes the leukocyte or white blood cells or WBC. WBC, leukocyte or white blood cells or WBCs. So these are the largest blood cells. Largest blood cells. Which one? WBC is the largest blood cell, and this may be circular or that may be irregularly shaped. Circular or irregular. And this is with nucleus. Which one? Leukocyte. White blood cell is with nucleus, and lifespan of RBC, lifespan of RBC 120 days we said, but lifespan of WBC, that is 3 to 4 days. Okay, lifespan of WBC is 3 to 4 days, and this WBC or white blood cells or WBC or leukocyte, that is into two main groups based on the nuclear shape and cytoplasmic granules. Okay, based on the nuclear shape and cytoplasmic granules, we can divide WBC into two types: granulocytes then another one is agranulocytes. Okay, so this granulocytes, they have a lobed nucleus with granules. They are granular with lobed nucleus, and these granulocytes are of three types, that is neutrophils, basophils, eosinophils. Neutrophils means they have highly lobed nucleus, that means 2 to 7 lobes, and they have hydrolyzing enzyme which is killing the microbes by phagocytosis. Okay, and these neutrophils, they stimulate the production of interferons and antiviral substances. Which one? Neutrophils. Okay, next eosinophils. These eosinophils, they are larger than the neutrophils and they have bilobed nucleus. Bilobed nucleus. And they'll do phagocytosis of antigen antibody complexes. Okay, and this eosinophil number will increase during allergic conditions like asthma, hay fever, these and all. During that, eosinophil number may increase. Next comes the basophils. Basophils, they have an intermediate size between neutrophils and eosinophils, and they have known phagocytic with 2 to 3 lobes of nucleus. They have 2 to 3 lobes of nucleus, and they release heparin, which is anticoagulant, and histamine. Which one? Basophil, that is releasing heparin. Heparin is an anticoagulant, and that releases histamine also. Okay, these are by basophils. These are released, heparin and histamine, both are released by basophils, which is, this heparin is an anticoagulant. Clear? These are the granulocytes. And what about agranulocytes? Agranulocytes means they doesn't have granules with non-lobed nucleus. And agranulocytes, they are of two types: monocytes and lymphocytes. Monocyte, lymphocyte. Okay. Monocytes have, this is one previous year question, monocytes have kidney-shaped nuclei, and lymphocytes, they are smallest leukocytes and they have large, round, dense nuclei. Lymphocytes are smallest leukocytes. They have large, dense nuclei and round nuclei. Okay. And these lymphocytes, they are non-motile, and there are two types: T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. T lymphocytes, they are found in thymus. T lymphocyte, which is found in thymus. B lymphocyte, that is found in bone marrow. That's the first letter. Bone marrow. Formed in bone marrow, that is B lymphocyte. T lymphocyte, which is formed in thymus. Okay. So these are involved, these lymphocytes are involved in the immunity and antibody production. Which one? Lymphocytes. Okay, so now we have learned about blood cells, which is erythrocyte, leukocyte, and next is blood platelets. So blood platelets, we can also call them as thrombocytes. These thrombocytes, they are red or sorry, they're round or oval biconvex disc, and these are formed by fragmentation of huge cells, which are called as megakaryocytes. Okay, formation here we said erythropoiesis, right? So like that, a formation of platelet, that is called as thrombopoiesis. We are calling blood platelets as thrombocytes. So formation of thrombocytes or blood platelets, that is called as thrombopoiesis. Thrombopoiesis. Okay, and this blood platelets, lifespan of this blood platelets, that is about 1 week lifespan. Clear? And these platelets, that they are having so many substances which is promoting blood clotting, like they have thromboplastin and some other clotting factors. Thromboplastin and some other substances which is helping for the blood clotting. So that's about blood cells: erythrocyte, leukocyte, and blood platelets. Next is about lymph. We need to learn about lymph. So this lymph is another vascular connective tissue, and lymph is colorless. This is a colorless fluid or colorless fluid connective tissue, we can say, and this is made up of plasma and WBC. Plasma and WBC, and this is mostly with lymphocytes. This doesn't have RBC, no RBC, platelet, and blood protein. So these things, blood protein, platelet, and RBC, all these things are absent in lymph. And that carries material from tissue to bloodstream and in reverse way also. So lymph carries materials from tissue to bloodstream. Right? And from bloodstream to tissue in reverse way also it is doing. This lymph is present in the intestine, in the capillaries, which is lymph capillaries are there, which is present in the intestinal villi, and that is called as lacteals, and these lacteals are associated with the absorption of digestive food. In the digestive food absorption, this is having a major role. Okay, so these are the 5-6 questions which is repeatedly came for NEET exam from the lymph portion. Okay, next about the muscular tissue. So we are learning about what and all we are learning now. Already we have covered animal tissues, epithelial tissue we have done, connective tissue we have done, and next comes the muscular tissue. Okay, next portion is the muscular tissue. So study of muscles, that is called as myology. Study of muscles. And these muscles that contribute most to the total weight of the body. Around 40 to 50% of body weight is contributed from the muscles. So the muscles, they are always elongated and they are slender and spindle shaped fiber-like cells. And these muscles are of three types, that is striated muscles, non-striated muscles, and cardiac muscles. Striated, non-striated, and cardiac muscles. So muscles are of three types, striated, non-striated, and cardiac muscles. Striated muscle, where and all you can see in the limbs, tongues, pharynx, and in the starting portion of esophagus and all you can see. Smooth muscles or non-striated muscles that you can see in the wall of all visceral organs. And cardiac muscle, where you can see myocardium of heart. Okay, the location that you need to learn, it's important point. And nucleus, about nucleus, if you're saying in striated muscles, that is multinucleated, and non-striated muscle, that is uninucleated, and nucleus will be in the center portion. And cardiac muscles, that is uninucleated, nucleus in the center portion. Multinucleated one is striated muscle. Okay. Next is about nervous tissue. See, nervous tissue, there is these are special type of tissues and there is no intercellular space. Clear? And they'll receive stimuli for conducting impulse. And this is to control and coordinate the body function. Then here we need to learn some structural organization in some animals. So structural organization in some animals, in that we need to learn about cockroach and frog. See, cockroach, just we need to say about the color. You know the color of cockroach, right? It may be brown or black. And here, frog, that will be olive green, right? Cockroach, we know that that is externally segmented. That means head, thorax, and abdomen. That formation is there, right? External segmentation. Just think about the picture of, or just imagine these both organisms, like one cockroach and one frog. External segmentation will be there in which one? In cockroach. But, and you can see exoskeleton, that chitinous exoskeleton which is covering the body in cockroach. At the same time here, scaleless skin you can see. In which one? In frog. Horizontal external appearance we are saying first. And that body is divided into head and trunk. There is no neck and tail region, right? In frog. In a grown-up one, you can see no neck and tail. So it is divisible into head and trunk in frog. So here itself we can see the difference in two types of organisms. And about body wall, what we can say, body wall that is 3-layered. In which one? In cockroach. In 3-layered body wall. 3-layered in the sense we can say cuticle is there, hypodermis is there, and basement membrane will be there. And here in frog you can see 2-layered body wall, epidermis and dermis. 2-layered body wall, epidermis and dermis. Next, about the digestive system. Now we are external comparison got over. Now we are moving to the internal systems. So digestive system, let's say first about the digestive system. In cockroach, you can see alimentary canal that is subdivided into 4 mid and hindgut. Foregut, midgut and hindgut. Okay. About alimentary canal, we need to say then in cockroach, crop, that portion serves for food storage. Right? And digestive system, in that you can say hepatic ceca that is secreting digestive enzyme. Hepatic ceca, which is for digestive enzyme secretion. In which one? In cockroach. This is about the digestive system. And in frog you can see a complete alimentary canal which is opening into cloaca. Complete digestive system. In which one? In frog. Right. Then what about the respiratory system? Respiratory system, that there you can see in cockroach, that is tracheal. Respiratory system, tracheal, that you can see in cockroach, and cutaneous respiration and buccopharyngeal and pulmonary, that means through lungs and skin. Here you can see this is all common, just general knowledge, right? So respiratory system, you can see respiration, cutaneous, that means through skin, cutaneous respiration, then buccopharyngeal and pulmonary, that means through lungs also in frog, right? And circulatory system, in which one? In cockroach it is open circulatory system, and in frog it is closed circulatory system. Clear? Excretory system, next is about the excretory system. Excretory system, what we can say, through Malpighian tubules in cockroach. Here, excretory system in frog, that is, there you can see well-developed kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder, cloaca. Kidney, ureter, bladder, cloaca, that you can see in frog, right? What about the nervous system? Nervous system, in cockroach you can see fused and segmentally arranged ganglia, right? Fused nervous system, and it is in each segment, it is segment wise arrangement. Segment wise arrangement you can see in the nervous system. In frog you can see the nervous system is well defined nervous system. That means like central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, autonomous nervous system. CNS, PNS, and ANS. In which one? In frog. Right? Then sense organs. What about the sense organs in cockroach? Photoreceptors are there, like light sensors are there. It is having a compound eye. Touch receptors are there, like antenna. Then taste receptors are there, like chemoreceptors. Then auditory receptors, sound receptors are also there. In which one? In cockroach. Here, touch receptors are there. Then gustatory receptors are there, olfactory receptors are there, organs for vision and hearing, everything is present in frog. Clear? And vision and hearing, that is also there in frog. Reproduction. So reproductive system in cockroach, it's dioecious. Dioecious animal, and the reproductive organ in abdominal region. You can see 10 segments. So reproductive organ in abdominal region, and paired testis, 4th to 6th segment, paired testis you can see, and ovaries 2nd to 6th segment you can see ovaries also. In frog, but in frog it's well organized. Testes and ovaries are found attached to the kidneys. Well organized or well developed reproductive system you can see in frog. Testes and ovaries are attached to the kidneys. Okay, then about fertilization. So fertilization, internal fertilization within genital pouch you can see in cockroach. Internal fertilization. In which one? In cockroach. What about the frog? External fertilization. In water, fertilization is taking place, right? External fertilization. Development. Development in cockroach, that is inside the ootheca egg case. What about frog? Indirect. That means metamorphosis of tadpole to adult frog, that is there. So there is an indirect development. That means tadpole is becoming adult frog. There is a metamorphosis, process of metamorphosis. So through that, the tadpole is becoming adult frog. So these are the structural organization in cockroach and frog. So you have to say about the color, body, body wall, digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, excretory system, nervous system, sense organs, reproductive system, then the development, fertilization. About all these things, just think about the stages. Okay, and the systems of body. Then you can compare both. Cockroach, one insect you have to learn, and frog also you have to learn, right? In the NEET syllabus they have mentioned that. So both we have learned. So now we have covered all the topics and all the practice questions from this area, from the previous year questions. So in the first topic, that is epithelial tissue. Second topic, connective tissue we have learned. Third topic, muscular tissue and nervous tissue we have learned. Next, fourth topic, structural organization in some animals like cockroach and frog. Here we have learned in detail, and all the points we have covered from previous year question paper. So it will be easy for you. Just learn, just read these topics. Within 1 hour you can read all this, right? So it will be learn minimum this much, so that it will be easy for you to answer the questions from this chapter. So almost we have covered all the points in the sense 99% we have covered. So just go through this and be confident. Thank you.